everyone again to our webinar, and I'd like to introduce our speaker. After years as an executive with billion-dollar brands, Gerry O'Brion is now a professional speaker and consultant who uses big company strategies to grow businesses of all sizes regardless of their budget. His presentation, What Big Brands Know, has helped thousands of business owners and executives create innovative strategies to beat their competition. Gerry teaches a simple process that any business can use to build powerful differentiation that attracts more customers. Gerry began his career in marketing at Procter & Gamble and then was an executive for Coors Light, Quiznos, and Red Robin. His business blueprint system includes simple steps to grow independent businesses just like the big guys. So with that, Gerry, thank you so much for being here, and take it away.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Susan, and I'm really excited to be speaking to all of you today. I actually launched my speaking career speaking to a lot of chamber audiences all over the country, and when I get lucky, I still get to speak to a few of those every year. So I was just speaking to one not just a couple of weeks ago. So some of my favorite audiences for sure, and so I'm always happy to be with Chamber of Commerce executives, because you guys are on the forefront of really making everything happen on the ground with the chamber. So just, you heard a little bit of the background about me. I came up through a large brand corporate marketing, and I always tell the story when I kick off my presentations. I was sort of doing what you're supposed to do when you graduate business school. The first thing I did coming out of business school, I got the best job I could get with the best company I could get, and I got a job coming out of business school with Procter & Gamble, and started doing what you're supposed to do when you start a corporate career. I started climbing the corporate ladder, and I eventually left Procter & Gamble and became the brand manager of Coors Light, making a lot of TV ads that you may have seen, and still climbing the corporate ladder, and then I left there and became the vice president of marketing for Quiznos, and then the VP of marketing for Red Robin Gourmet Burgers, big brand marketing. But at one point I realized, I kind of looked out from this corporate ladder and I realized, I think I might have climbed up the wrong ladder. Like, what am I doing? But what I realized while I was climbing up that corporate ladder was that companies of any size could do some of the same things that we were doing to attract more of their customers, or in your case, more new members, or retain more of your new members. You can do the same things that we were doing on billion-dollar brands, even if you don't have a big marketing budget. So for Chamber of Commerce executives, it's important to think about, you can influence people the same way billion-dollar brands do, even if you don't have a budget. And one of the challenges of Chamber of Commerce is that you don't always have a huge budget. So I don't know if any of you have a mom like this, but so I left corporate America, and I decided I'm going to start a company. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to create a system. I'm going to create a keynote address. I'm going to create a workbook and a program to help companies or organizations like yours of all sizes do what we did, even if they don't have a lot of money. And so I'm an entrepreneur now, and I'm working hard trying to create a business from scratch, just like a lot of the business owners that you work with. And my mom calls me one day, and my mom says, "So Gerry, I was thinking, because you don't have a job anymore." I'm like, "Mom, I don't have a job, but I'm still working." Yeah. So you don't have a job anymore, so I thought you could come home and help me. And I'm thinking, okay, sure, Mom. What do you want help with? Now, my mom has been up and down on the seesaw of being challenged by her weight for her entire life. And she said, "Will you come home to Wisconsin and help me with a plan to lose weight?" And I was excited by this, and I said, "Mom, sure, of course, I'll do it." And I'm thinking, well, shoot, Gerry, you can make a $100 million marketing plan for a billion-dollar brand. Clearly, you can come up with a plan to help Mom lose weight. So I get on a plane. I fly home to Wisconsin, this little small town where I grew up, for 10 days, and Mom has no idea what we're going to do. But I get home on a Tuesday night, and that Tuesday night, she cooks a full-fat, full-calorie Wisconsin style dinner, right? And I'm thinking, oh man, tomorrow this is all going to end. So we wake up in the morning, and we sit down at the kitchen table, And Mom has no idea what we're going to do. She just knows Gerry has come home to help her with a plan. And so we sit down at the kitchen table, and she pulls this out. It's a huge basket of books and notebooks, and she sets it down on the table, and she says, "Here's all my weight loss stuff." And meanwhile, my mom was at the heaviest weight of her entire life. And it occurred to me just then that what Mom didn't need was a bigger plan, more stuff, more notebooks and books. What my mom needed was more clarity around the one or the two actions that she needed to take in order to really achieve success. So I took the books and the notebooks off the table, and she never saw the plan. I had, created this multi-page corporate-style plan while I was on the plane. She never saw it. And I took the notebooks and books off the table, and I said, "Hey, Mom, what if we just did this? What if we just focused on two things, eating the right stuff and moving your body?" Now, in theory, we all know that that's what you do to lose weight, eating the right stuff and moving your body. And we did that. We focused on nothing but those two things for 6 months, and in the first 6 months, she lost 40 pounds. And the reason I tell that story many times at the beginning of my keynote address is because we are so bombarded with so many things that we have to do. As Chamber of Commerce executives, your email inboxes are full, your voicemails are filled with people, your days are filled with all the things that you need to do to go out and serve your chamber members. And you're trying to reach your objectives, your membership objectives, your budget objectives, all this stuff. And sometimes there's so many things going on that we forget that if we just focus in on the one or the two things that matter, we'll make a big difference in our organization. And the trick is figuring out what are those one or two things that are going to make the big difference for us. And that's what I help organizations do, hone in and get clarity around the things that are going to make a difference for them, in your case, to attract new members or retain the members you got or increase your volunteership or volunteerism. And for your members, for the business owners that you serve, how are they going to get more customers? How are they going to stand out from competition? How are they going to compete against places like Walmart or Super Target or whoever the big competitors are in your market? And what happened with my mom was she had success, but then there's always the challenge of, how do you get off the roller coaster? And so what my mom had to deal with was change. She had to make changes for the one or two things that matter. And whether you're a Chamber of Commerce or you're a business owner, the only constant is change. Our business owners that we work with are always inundated with competition, customers changing, government regulations changing, taxation changing, you name it, things are changing. And what they need to do, and what you need to do as a chamber executive, is learn how to be effective at navigating change so you can figure out where to go next with your organization. Now I'm going to show you, this is 5-year stock charts for two direct competitors. Now pay attention to the dates, 2006 to 2011. These are companies that are direct competitors to one another. See if you can think about what companies these might be. I'll give you a hint. They're in the entertainment industry. And one of them eventually, the one on the top, eventually goes bankrupt. And the one on the bottom is an extraordinarily successful company today. Essentially, the one on the bottom took the one on the top completely out of business. And the companies are Blockbuster and Netflix. And what I talked to the director of research for Blockbuster, who was there. I talked to him, a couple of years back, and he was there back in 2008. And I said, "Man, what went wrong? What were you guys doing? Mr. Director of Research, your job is to help people navigate to success, to help Blockbuster become more successful." And he said, yeah. Well, I was trying to do that, but what happened was in 2008, I went to the board of directors and I said, "Hey, consumers really seem to like that whole DVD mailing thing that Netflix is doing." And the board of directors said some version of this. They said, "Well, yeah, that's great. That's interesting, Mr. Director of Research, but what do you expect that we should do with our 9,000 stores and our 60,000 people that work in those stores?" And essentially he said, "Well, I don't know, but they really like that DVD mailing thing." And the story goes on that Netflix tried to sell themselves to Blockbuster 3 different times, and Blockbuster was so focused on the brick and mortar, the store model that they had, that they were unable to navigate their way to success. And over in every industry that I work with, I see companies that thrive and organizations that thrive and organizations that fail. And the reason that they either thrive or fail is that they have clarity about what they should do to go to where their customers want to go today. I'll give you another example. Blockbuster was a huge brand, and being a huge brand is not today enough to protect you, to save you. Here's another example. Kodak bottles of barbecue sauce on the shelf. So there's one thing that you have to do. There's one thing that every organization has to do in order to be successful over time. If you do this, you will be successful as an organization. And if you don't, you'll struggle. The one thing is you've got to find a way to be different from competition in a way the customer values. You've got to find a way to stand out, to provide value to them so that they give you their dollars instead of any of the other options out there. So in order to do that, you got to think for a minute about your brand. What is a brand? I'm going to have you think a little bit. When I ask audiences this, they yell out all sorts of things. A brand is your logo, it's their customer's relationship with you, it's your reputation, it's what makes you special, what makes you stand out, it's your history, it's your consistency, it's your product, it's all these things. I'm going to have you think about your brand in just a slightly different way. Your brand resides in the mind of an individual person. And the way they decide about what they believe about your brand is the same way they decide about everything else in their life, who they're going to marry, what kind of car they're going to buy, where they're going to go on vacation. And they decide about your brand the same way they decide if they're going to give you their dollars this year to become a member, or they're going to use those dollars in some other way. And that's the decision that they make in their mind, and it's related to your brand. And because it's in their mind, it's partly rational and partly emotional, because that's just the way our brains work. So when they're making a decision about whether they're going to become a member, or they're going to volunteer, or they're going to be active or not, they're using partly rational and partly emotional things. Now, the organizations that are best able to get people to choose their stuff are the organizations that have clarity around what makes them special and valuable in the mind of their customer, and in your case, the mind of your members. So I'm going to give you 4 questions that every organization and every Chamber of Commerce executive team should be asking to make sure that you maximize the number of members that say yes to you every year. And some of these questions you probably have heard before, and some of them are going to sound pretty new to you. Question number 1. Who are your ideal members? Who are you really going after? Obviously, you'd like to have every business in your area be a member, but who are the ones you really, really want to get? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you really brief case studies from other industries that have nothing to do with Chamber of Commerce, although some of them might be your members. But I use these case studies to demonstrate the points I'm making. Who are your ideal members, number 1. So here's an auto repair shop in Denver, Colorado that's located on 6th Avenue Auto. This guy was a IT guy, got laid off from his job, had a certified auto mechanic, an auto mechanic certification, always wanted to open his own business, his own auto repair shop. He leases a 2-bay auto repair shop on 6th Avenue in Denver, Colorado. He puts up this sign, he opens it up, and in order to be specialized so people knew what kinds of cars he fixed, he chose only 2 kinds of cars. Imports and domestics. I think that's all of them. And he thought what a lot of business owners thought, which you run into this all the time, I'm sure. He thought, well, I'm going to open up this auto repair shop, and all the people within 3 miles around, they'll probably just come and get their car fixed here because I opened my doors. Unfortunately, that doesn't always work. In fact, it rarely does, and so nobody came in. And so he said, well, god darn. And he said what a lot of business owners say, I don't have any customers, I better start marketing. I better start advertising, then I'll get customers in the door. So he did that. He put out door hangers all within 3 miles around. Every house got a door hanger that said, come into 6th Avenue Auto and get a $20 oil change. Everyone flooded in for a $20 oil change, and then nobody came back. That darn marketing. So he said, you know, Gerry, what I realized? I said, oh, he was getting an insight about his customers. Insights are what drive your organizations. He said, what I realized was that a lot of people in this neighborhood, they seem like they drive an Audi or a Volkswagen. I said, oh, well, that's interesting. He said, yeah. So I changed my website. This was his website at the time. He said, I put, we service Audi and Volkswagen specialists all over his website. I said, yeah, but you didn't even change that sign out front. He goes, yeah, no, I know that sign is really expensive. It's like $2,000. I was out of money. I couldn't even change the sign. So I just changed my website. And he said, you know what happened? I said, oh, what happened? He said, people didn't come in from within 3 miles around. He said, people came in from all over Denver. He said, you know why? I'm like, why? He said, because it turns out people don't want to go to the dealership, but they want to go to somewhere that specializes in their kind of car. And that was the insight that drove his business. In the next 18 months, he tripled his business because he got clear on who were his ideal customers and how do I serve them in a way that they want to be served? How do I get specific on understanding and serving their needs? Now, he didn't specialize in Audi and Volkswagen. He just said that. He could fix any kind of car. Well, now he certainly does. He's got a whole repair shop. Now he's actually moved. He's in a 6-bay auto repair shop because he had too much business for his 2-bay auto repair shop. But he got clarity around the insights. Insights are what power your organization. So the most important thing is to understand, what do your chamber members want today? What are the insights about what they want? So question 2, what are they looking for? Those ideal people that you really want to join or be active or really participate in the chamber, what are they looking for? Now, we look for things on 3 different levels. Number 1 is just the price of entry. It's like what you have to deliver, what you have to do in order to serve your customers. Now, for a chamber, you have to be around, you have to be credible, you have to, have events, have some social things that you might do, whatever the price of entry is. Then there's these rational reasons. So your business owners are saying, well, will I do networking? Will I meet customers? Will I build my business or not? And then there's these emotional reasons. Why would I join? From an emotional reason, I might be looking for community, for connection, for credibility for my company. And if we can operate our organizations to deliver all 3 of these levels for our customers, in your case, for your members, then that's where we have the most active members. We have them be the most loyal over time. If we can operate not just on the price of entry, what they expect a chamber to do, but other reasons, rational reasons why they would join and emotional reasons why they would join, then we're hitting them on all levels. Let me give you some examples of things that I think people are seeking. What are they seeking from the chamber? And these are probably things that you all are talking about. They're seeking business growth. At the end of the day, I want my business in your town, in our town, to be successful. Community. I want to have a community with other business owners who are like me, who I can have as a sounding board, or we can just hang out and enjoy each other, or learn from each other, or just know other people who are kind of like me. I want solutions to my problems. If I have a challenge, I want a resource where I can come and get smarter. I want representation. If there's any kind of laws or anything that I'm struggling with, I want to have a resource that I can go to for representation. And I want credibility. There's a lot of information out there about if I'm a member of the chamber or if I'm not, will that actually give me more credibility and help my business? So insights are what power your chamber and allow you to navigate to where you need to go next. Understanding what those business owners want today that might be different than they wanted yesterday. And in order to do that, you've got to listen to your members, have events, listen, find out what they want, what they don't want, what they want tomorrow, what are they worried about in their business, and how can you help deliver on every one of those things? That brings us to question 3, your outcome. What is the outcome that you're going to commit that you deliver to your customers? What to your members? What do they get from being? This is the rational piece of it many times. So the age-old marketing question is, who wants to buy a drill bit? And the answer is always, nobody wants to buy a drill bit. They want to buy a hole. They don't want to buy the bit. They don't want to buy the thing. They want to buy the outcome of the thing. So your business owners might want to buy more credibility, might want to buy business strategies, information that they couldn't afford to get on their own. They might want to buy community. I say that's also broken. Nobody wants a drill bit. Nobody wants a hole. They want like their shelf on the wall with the books on it. What your folks want is a successful business, a successful community where other businesses come together and we all succeed together. So how do you provide that differently than any of the other things that they can choose to belong to or where they can get business success advice? how does the chamber provide it uniquely and differently in such a compelling and valuable way that they're going to fork over their dollars to be a member? So what's the outcome that you deliver? Now, question 4 is the one that's always the favorite from my audiences. It's called, what's your because? The power of the word because. I'll tell you a story. There's this woman named Ellen Langer, who was the first ever female tenured professor at Harvard. She was a sociologist, and she studied how people were influenced to do things. And she did a very famous study about using the word because and how that would influence people to do different things. And if you remember, back in the day at university, there would be Xerox machines. And there would always be a line at the Xerox machine because there wasn't very many of them, and people would want to copy their books or their notebooks or their papers or whatever. And so she, at the university, had students walk up and try to cut in front of the line at the Xerox machine by saying different things, and they tracked which of the things that they said were most influential. So at first she had a student walk up and say, oh, excuse me, I have 5 pages. May I use the Xerox machine? And 60% of the time, they let the student cut in front of the line. Okay, so that's our benchmark. She said, okay, now go up and insert the word because. Say this, may I use the Xerox machine because I'm in a rush? Now, 93% of the time, they let the student cut in line. Now, if you're paying attention, you're like, okay, yeah, I got it. But they said it's because they're in a rush. They gave them a really good reason. I'm in a rush. She said, okay, fine. Just walk up and say something nonsensical. So she had him walk up and say this, may I use the Xerox machine because I need to make copies? 92% of the time, they let them cut in line. Now, why does that happen? It happens because in our country, we are bombarded with between 500 and 3,000 advertising messages every day. We have so many people trying to get us to do something, take some action, to join this or join that or spend your money here, and it's been compounded by the internet where there's all sorts of resources that we can get that could be a replacement or a substitute for the Chamber of Commerce. What happens is our brains don't pay attention to all the details. And if something sounds like fluff, it just flies right by and it doesn't hook us. We don't pay attention. But if it has a because, if it has a hook, it hooks on our brain and we pay attention to it, even if it's not a very good reason. And so as a Chamber of Commerce, you need a because. Let me show you examples so it makes more sense in real life. What's the slogan for Papa John's Pizza? Think about if you know what the slogan for Papa John's Pizza is. It's better ingredients, better pizza. Now, if you remember, question number 3 I asked you was, what's the outcome? What's your outcome? Now, if you're opening up a pizza place, the outcome is you want to have good, delicious, tasty pizza, right? Now, if I opened up a place, Gerry's Pizza, and I went to you and said, hey, I'm opening a pizza place, Gerry's Pizza. Come on in because our pizza is better. It sounds a lot like marketing fluff. What do you mean your pizza is better? But the problem is that's the way we talk to people. Oh, the Chamber of Commerce, it'll be great for your business. People are like, yeah, I don't know. Why? Why? They're looking for your because. So for Papa John's, they said, no, our pizza's better because we have better ingredients. They built their because. They didn't use the word because, but they built their because right into their slogan. No, better pizza because we've got better ingredients. Now, they got sued. This is way, way back in the early 90s. They got sued by big old Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut said, you can't say your pizza's better than ours. Papa John's won the lawsuit because they use fresh sliced tomatoes and filtered water. Now, remember, she said, go up to the copy machine because I need to make copies. It wasn't even a good reason. They just knew that there was a reason. Better ingredients? It sounds like a good reason. Turns out it's not supported by much, but it definitely sold the pizza, and I can prove that because today Papa John's is a $3 billion pizza brand based on a simple slogan that includes a because. So my question for you is, what's the because? What's the reason why I should believe the outcomes that you're going to say I'm going to get. Why would I believe I'm going to get better community? Why would I believe I'm going to grow my business? What's your because? I'll give you another quick example. The Coors Light Frost Brew Liner can. This is a can that I launched in the market when I was the brand manager on Coors Light. And when I ask my audiences, they say, oh, that's the can that keeps your beer colder. Well, no, it actually doesn't keep your beer colder. We never said that. We did say what you see on the bottom of your screen there, that it locks in refreshing frost brewed taste, which, yes, that's basically what a can does. And here's the secret. Every aluminum can ever made has had a liner inside of it. We just turned ours blue and told you it existed. Now, the thing is we weren't trying to be misleading, and what I'm not saying is that you should be misleading, but what I am saying is that every organization, you're already doing probably many of the things that will deliver the outcomes for your members. The question is, do they know, or do they resonate, or do they experience those reasons why up close and personal in a way that's very compelling to them? If you combine an outcome, one of them that we've listed or the others that you have, with a because, the reason why I should believe that it's true, it can be very powerful. On Coors Light, on a flat light beer industry, Coors Light can sales was 40% of our brand, $2 billion brand. Coors Light can sales in a flat light beer industry grew by 5% in the first year that we turned the liner blue, because we gave the people a reason to believe that there was something special or unique. We gave them the proof. Look, you can see the liner. It's blue. Your because makes what you say more believable. Show me that you'll grow my business. Show me that you'll provide community. Show me that you're going to give me something valuable. It makes me believe it more, and it makes it more repeatable. If you want your chamber members to go out and to be your best marketing, to bring in other members on your behalf, you have to actually have them experience and believe those things in their own real life. You have to have them, give them something to use. Now let me show you what this might look like in terms of an actual chamber of commerce as you're talking to people. I dug this up, which hopefully many of you have seen this research. If a small business is a member of its local chamber, customers, paying customers, this is from a survey of over 2,000 of them, had a 49% increase in favorability. The perception of that small business increased by 49% if it's a member of the local chamber. Increase in 73% of awareness that the business exists if the small business is a member of the local chamber. These are becauses. Oh, why would you be a member? Well, because there's an 73% increase in awareness if you're a member of the local chamber. 68% said they view the reputation, the local reputation of the business more favorable, and 80% said they're more likely to patronize in the future if a business is a member of its local chamber. These are becauses. Now, if I'm a brand new business and I'm debating, should I join the chamber or not? And you tell me that 49% of the people are going to view me more favorably, 73% of the people are going to be more likely to be aware that I exist, 68% are going to say that I've got a more strong local reputation, and 80% are going to be more likely to patronize me in the future. Now you've given me a powerful because that will help me go, wow, that's going to be a good investment. And oh, by the way, I'd really like to be involved and be in that community. So you could buy a whole pile of marketing books. And the reality is, unless you've answered these 4 questions as an executive, it's going to be hard for you over time to stay relevant to your members, to attract new members, and to keep them engaged in the organization. These are the 4 questions that drive billion-dollar brands year in and year out. You don't need a big marketing budget. You need really, really powerful answers so that your members become your best marketing. Here's my contact information. I'd love to hear from any of you. Feel free to email me. Check out my website if you want to see what I do for business audiences. Go to my website there, whatbigbrandsknow.com. and just click on the video, and you can check it out. And the video is actually a fun little video. If you watch just the first 3 minutes, you get a really great sense of what I do. And now we'd love to take any questions that you've got.
All right, thank you, Gerry. Appreciate that. I do, as Gerry indicated, if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask them. You can do that through the chat function, as we explained before. Just type them into the question box. I have one question. Can member testimonials help build your because?
Absolutely. So that's actually a great example. I should have put that in here. People are, after my presentation, everyone wants to say, oh, well, how do I create a powerful because? And there are lots of different ways to do it. And one of them is member testimonials. And I'll even take you one step further. The internet, the web, is so huge today. A text testimonial would be great. You can put it right on the front page of your website. What would be even better is go get your video camera, get yourself a lavalier microphone that you can plug into your video camera, and go interview some of your members and get video testimonials and clip those together. It doesn't have to be any kind of crazy professional thing. And if you actually look at my video on my website, what you'll see is it's interspersed with exactly that. Video testimonials from people who have worked with me to say, hey, Gerry was awesome. Because if you're hiring a speaker, you want to know if it's going to be good or not. Same with your potential members. They want to know, well, what would the other members say? So go out to your best members and say, hey, why have you belonged to the chamber for this 1 year or 5 years or 25 years? And get some really good little video clips and put them together, and it's a very compelling reason why. That's a great example. So really good question.
Okay. Gerry, can you tell us the source of the statistics you quoted on chamber favorability ratings?
I knew I was going to be asked that, and so I just looked it up, and in fact, it's on the ACCE website. It's a 2012 study of 2,000 consumers. I closed the window because I needed to not have it open on my computer. But it's actually, I might be able to even dig it up. We can send the link out to people because it's actually part of the ACC research that they did in 2012.
Okay. Tell you what, we will post that link when we post the recording of this webinar. So
yeah,
Gerry, just find me what it is, and we'll post it up there.
Yeah, it's so funny because I'm like, someone's going to ask me that. I better go dig it up. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be really credible because it's actually the ACC survey. Okay.
We have a question. Can you go over the outcomes as they relate to a Chamber of Commerce again? I think.
Oh, do you want me to just so here's some of the outcomes. Let me just scroll back to that. Some of the outcomes that I brainstormed. And I put these under what people want. So here's one thing that I'll say again. So question number 2, what are they looking for? If you can figure out what your people are looking for, these should also be your outcomes, right? So in this case, what I said, some of the ideas that I just brainstormed that a business owner might be seeking from a chamber of commerce. These insights about what people are looking for, the hope is that they're also the outcomes that you claim that you deliver. So this list might be a little short. I'll bet you that if we got everyone on this call around brainstorming, we'd come up with other things that your members want from you. And if you want to know what your members want from you, just go ask them. Do a survey. Have them do a fill-in-the-blank thing. Go look for them. So the things that I came up with, business growth, obviously they want their business to be more successful. They want to be in community with other business owners like them. They want solutions to all sorts of different problems. Goodness knows it could be any kind of problem, a problem with their building, a problem with contractor, it could be a problem with how do I file my taxes correctly, it could be any kind of thing. Representation, I want to be represented with an organization in my community. I want credibility, and you saw some of the statistics that are the becauses about why they'll be have a more credible business. These are the ones that I came up with, and I think there's probably lots and lots more. And what you want to try to do is take all these things and then say, as a chamber, what's our because for each of these? What's the reason why someone would believe that we can actually help them grow their business? What's the reason why they would believe we provide community, right? And the because for a community might be we have 3 big chamber events each year, and one of them is limited to just chamber members. Another is a big community event for other potential businesses. Whatever it is, we have a big Christmas party, or we have small group settings where like businesses get together and like brainstorm with one another. Whatever those activities that you do that prove that you actually deliver on the big ideas of what they want, those are your becauses.
Okay. And we were reminded thank you, one of our members reminded us that the Shapiro report that you took your statistics from.
That's
2012 Shapiro report. So we will put a link to that. It's definitely, obviously on our website, we'll put a link near the recording so you have it handy. Here is an interesting question. How do you mitigate the unrealistic expectations of some members who may think of the chamber as a marketing tool that promotes their business and gets them clients with the overall mission function of the chamber without alienating members? How do you show value when they fail to see or acknowledge it?
Yeah, that's that's an interesting question. Being a member of the chamber is not a guarantee of success. It reminds me of I do a lot of work with franchisor organizations. And franchisees, when they buy into it, believe, well, it's a guarantee to work because I bought the franchise, so you're going to bring me customers, right? It's like, well, no, actually, that's not how it works. You buy the name, you buy the systems, you buy, the toolkit, but we don't give you the customers. You got to go find those yourself. And so I don't have a great answer for that, but I think if it were me, it would be in the upfront conversations. It's not a matter of selling, if you're a member of the chamber, you're going to be successful. I'd be selling the opposite thing. It's not a guarantee of success at all, but it is a guarantee that you're going to have every access to every tool to help you succeed with some of the smartest business owners in this community as your counterparts and your advocates. It's always important whenever you're selling something to be clear on what it is and what it is not. And sometimes pointing out the things of what it is not, and that the fact that it takes some serious work to be a small business owner, no matter what, that challenge is actually motivating. I don't know that I have a marketing solution for people that have unrealistic expectations. Probably those unrealistic expectations are coming, my guess would be, from the people who are the least effective business owners and are looking for some magic silver bullet solution. And as a business executive expert, I can tell you that there is no silver bullet in business. There isn't. There never is. And business owners always wish there was. And the ones who do the best are the ones who realize and who believe there is no silver bullet other than hard work, really smart marketing strategy, and over-delivering for every dollar that your customer spends with you so that they bring more customers just like them. So that's a tough question, and I'm not sure I have a great answer, but that's about as best as I can do.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Do you have any examples of chambers using the methods that you have described in this presentation, Gerry?
I don't, not off the top of my head. I don't. But here's what I would do is, if a chamber is wondering what does best in class look like, I do this with lots and lots of different businesses that I speak to. I go out and I actually just start with doing a bunch of internet research, and I would go out and try to go look at 20 or 30 different Chamber of Commerce websites, and you'll know when you get to a good one. You'll know when you get to one where it's so compelling you want to go join their chamber and you don't even live in their city. Now, a website is only one very small element of how do you get somebody to join. But the reason that I look at websites is because it's a leading indicator of what they're doing behind the scenes. We all know that the real way that you get members to join is through one-on-one interactions, through referrals from other people who are members, through events that you do, through them seeing that there are valuable resources and assets. that they can access. But the way that a chamber messages on their website is a great leading indicator of how they're messaging through every other avenue that they use. And so if you want to see what success looks like, go dig up a bunch of chamber websites, and you'll know when you've hit on one where they're showing you what's the outcome of joining, and what's their because, what's the reason why you should believe that their outcomes are good. And I'll bet you're going to go out there and you're going to find some that have great testimonials, that have great videos. You might even, YouTube is the second largest search engine out there after Google. You might even just go to YouTube and search for things like, should I join the Chamber of Commerce, or top Chamber of Commerce, and try to dig up some examples of what other people are doing out there. One of the good things is that there's so many of them, you're bound to find some good examples where they're using this kind of framework to grow their membership.
Okay, and of course the ACC website is a great resource as well. And
yeah, exactly. I should have mentioned that. I should have put a plug in for that.
The summaries and synopses of our Chamber of the Year award winners is a great place, and our ACE award winners. We have lots of good information that's contained in those materials as well. Gerry, what's the most effective way to differentiate your chamber from other business networking organizations like BNI?
Well, I think literally the answer to that question is to use the framework that I gave you. And the reason why I don't generally say, oh, if you just do this, it'll work, is because every community, every chamber, every organization is different. And you literally should start with question one, who are your ideal members, or more, probably just as importantly, who are your current members? Question two, what do they want? It's really not smart for you to listen, because I put in my 5 ideas of what they want, but you want to get real good insights, go do a member survey and find out what your people say they want in your community from you. And those things that they want, then your process is ask them questions like, where else are you getting these kinds of things, right? And figure out what resources do you have that none of these other networking organizations have. My guess would be the Chamber has an enormous amount of brand credibility that some of these other organizations do not have, because it's a bigger organization, it's been around forever, everyone has heard of it. It's a place with a lot of brand equity and credibility. The other thing is you probably have a larger base, a larger group of business owners who are members than other organizations. So you can do more subgroup, I would, if I was a chamber executive today, I would be creating subgroups of specialty kinds of businesses that can get together and do sort of what we call mastermind kind of work, where you get a small group of like-minded business owners together and help each other solve problems. Now that could be any kind of thing. It could be that they're all, let's say, retailers, or they're all one kind of business, or they're all even an age group. You could do a group for Generation Y business owners, like young upstart business owners. You could do another one that's for all food-related business owners, or you could, any kind of subgroup where they can feel direct community and direct value from being a member. And my guess is that the Chamber has a better ability to do that than the other organizations, because they're bigger, they're better known, you have more businesses involved, that kind of thing. But you got to create something with the input and the insights from your members that is distinct and unique. And honestly, that's a brainstorming and a creative process that if you work the process, you will be able to uncover and create unique differentiation.
Okay. We have 2 final questions just about you. Where in Wisconsin did you grow up, and are you a member of the Chamber of Commerce?
Good questions. So I grew up in a small town called Columbus, Wisconsin. It's just outside of 30 minutes north of Madison, right between Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, and Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Population 4,000 when I grew up there, and it had 1 stoplight. Now they have 2, so it's expanded by 100% since the 1980s. And I am a member of a chamber. I am a member of the Cherry Creek Chamber of Commerce in Denver, Colorado. Although,
right.
I mean, for my business, it's an oddball business because I do business all over the country, but still a member of a chamber.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Gerry, for your presentation and sharing your expertise, and thanks to all of you for your participation and your questions. We really appreciate it. Gerry has provided his presentation slides to us, so we'll have a recording of this webinar and the slides up on the website in the next 1 to 2 days. And you can get that. Yeah.
Can I just add in one more thing real quick? If you go to my website, you can actually put your email address in there. You can get for free the first section of my business blueprint system. And it's this free download there. You can get it, and you can get a little peek under the tent of how I go and work with organizations to help them start to do this kind of stuff. And the first section of it's actually got some really cool exercises in that as executives you might be interested in doing. And it's totally free. Just go to my website and you can get it.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Gerry, and thanks all of you. We appreciate your participation. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.